So can you tell us who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
So I'm Andy. I'm a general builder for a national building firm that looks after anything to do with commercial buildings and property.
Why did you decide to do this as a job?
From school, I'd floated around school, not really being super smart, not really being super dumb. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. Nobody gave me any guidance. So kind of, I did a couple of days with a builder I used to know and thought, you know what, he's done pretty well out of this. He's got nice cars, he's got a bit of money in the bank, and I thought I'll go and get myself in college. So my mum at the time paid for me to go to college and get bricklaying going. So that's where it all started and just enjoyed it, so yeah.
What was your first wall like?
Horrendous. Horrendous, like it was like this, it was like this, it was just all kinds of stuff. But towards the end, if you saw the first wall compared to the end one, I was doing bullseye arches, I was building little houses in the warehouse at college and stuff that the joiners could get on with. Electricians would come in and throw first fix wires in it.
What do you love most about your job?
Every day is different. Like the job I'm in now for a commercial company is we're classed as a roaming engineer. So we'll do anything from, well, we'll go to Scotland and do anything to London, or we'll go anywhere as a company. And every day is different. Like going back to my original trade of a bricklayer, I felt so much like a robot. Every day was the same, you know, get a mix on. It was just monotonous all the time. So I just got, not bored, but I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, like, so got in with another company, which was a property maintenance firm, which then instead of doing, because when I was bricklaying, it was very commercial based, like we would build nursing homes or we would build, you know, factories and stuff like that. So got on with the property maintenance firm who did extensions, and then I learned how to do tiling for bathrooms and plastering and all kinds of different trades rather than just bricklaying. So that was, I preferred doing that rather than being on site, just bricklaying every day. But yeah, at the minute, the job that I'm in, I love every day that's different. It keeps it fresh, alive, not boring, because I'm always told, like, if you don't love your job, you're in the wrong job. So yeah, it was good, it's good.
Would you class yourself as like a general builder? Is there a term?
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to do when I started out in construction was be completely self-sufficient. So obviously bricklaying I saw as the external part of the building. That's your main part. And then I thought, well, if I can learn that and learn that and learn that, it's more strings to my bow. So I just took these things on and had a go and carried on. So there isn't a lot that I can't do to a house myself. And I love that, because it's like, well, when you get me as a builder, you get me doing everything. So it's good, you know. I still actually love getting back on the trowel, because it just comes back to me second nature.
What's the worst part about your job?
The weather can get you pretty down. That's, you know, outside job, nobody likes to be out in the rain, and when you've got a blocked gutters you end up getting soaked, and there's nothing else you want to do other than go home or, you know, go to the calf. So somewhere warm and dry is perfect, but it's just horrendous when you're soaked through literally to your pants and you have to keep on working as well. So,
can you think of the biggest challenge that you've had in your career so far?
Yeah, I mean, this will be pretty personal now, but my mum passed away from breast cancer, and getting over that and trying to go back to work was probably one of the toughest things I've ever done. But I think it's what makes me as a person. You just, you know, don't want to sound like a stereotypical bloke, but I just got up and cracked on. But at the same time, that's what my mum would have wanted me to do as well. So that was the hardest thing. I mean, when you go through something like that, work doesn't take priority, but at the same time, I didn't want to stop. So, and I think work actually got me through it. So, yeah, I appreciate knowing what I know now to carry on and do that kind of thing. So yeah, that's probably the toughest thing.
Do you think Manual labour is a good antidote for things like depression.
I think so, yeah. Like you can get to a job and all you've got is a sledgehammer in your hand and you can let holy hell out on a wall and I've come out of jobs and absolutely knackered, but I've smashed this room apart and it just de-stresses you. It knackers you, but it de-stresses you and you just think, oh, that was good, and then you go on to do something else and then you rebuild it and you get all this at the end of it and go, well, yeah, I did all that. You know, you get loads of job satisfaction from it, loads, especially bricklaying, because you can physically see something. You know, electrical, plumbing, that, it's all hidden behind the wall. Yes, they know about it and the job satisfaction that everything works, but I love bricklaying because of, you can see it and it's like, wow, yeah, I built that. So.
Why did you choose what you do now over any other trade?
Probably what I said earlier, like every day's different, and because I wanted to be completely self-sufficient, this job kind of suits me because every day's different. So when we look after commercial buildings, we can go in and one day we'll be refurbing a bathroom because it's outdated or whatever, and we'll be doing all that, and then the next day I can be digging trenches, sorting out drainage. The next day we'll have a roof leak. We work on a reactive basis, but also a project basis. So a call comes in, boiler doesn't work, or got no hot water. You turn up, fix that, take it apart. I've got a thing about taking it apart, seeing what's wrong with it, putting it back together and see if it works. And that's quite good job satisfaction as well. You're also different people every day. You know, you're not going to an office and seeing the same 4 people around a desk. And, you know, I'll go to Cirencester and see the manager there, and then I'll come up to Birmingham and see the manager there. And it's different people every day. Yes, we know them, but I like travelling around, and travelling around actually is quite a nice thing because you get to see places that you don't normally see. And you know, I got called out to Whitney a couple of weeks ago. I've never been to Whitney in my life, but it was a lovely little town in there, and I was like, this is good. So little things like that make your job worthwhile.
If you could give your younger self any piece of advice, what would it be?
Saving. I've never saved. I don't save. I'm only just starting to save now. My kind of goal a bit further down the line would be to have a couple of properties where they would look after themselves, or I would go around and look after them, and they would give enough revenue to kind of keep me living as well as, you know, whoever lives in properties. So that's my ultimate goal, is to have a few properties. But yeah, if I'd have told my younger self to save and get houses when they were cheap, that would be what I wanted to tell myself.
Have you got any tips relating to being in the trade that you want to share?
Just be good at what you do, really. Find a trade and just excel at it. If you're coming into construction, just graft, like, you know, you'll reap the rewards of how much effort you put in. If you're going to put no effort in, you're not going to get anything. You put 150% effort in, you're going to absolutely do well at it. So yeah, that would be the main tip, is just, you know, graft for it, and you're only going to earn the money if you're going to willing to put your neck on the line sort of thing. So, and that'll get you noticed a lot more as well.
What's your favourite tool that you can't live without?
My still saw. This beast. Just love it. Can practically fix anything with it, cut a hole in it. If you wanted me to get in a door, I'll get in a door. And just, yeah, I think it's quite manly, you know what I mean? Like, revving the knackers off it. It's just ace, love it.
It can't exist now, but what would you invent to make your life easier?
This is probably quite an on-topic thing for being green, is hydrogen-powered things. A lot of boilers now are coming as percentage hydrogen to get ready for a swap, maybe, but we reckon that hydrogen is the new electric, so to speak. You could literally power so much from hydrogen, it's ridiculous. And how green it would be is there's 0 emissions from it, so it's, why not? But I might get found out by the Matrix for for saying about hydrogen, but it's yeah, I think that would be the way forward for the future, definitely.
What do you think about the increase in social media influencers in the building trade?
I think it's quite good. It gets a lot of more spotlight on building trade. Like one I watch probably on a daily basis is the Bull Builders. Like they're always joking, laughing, but also have serious stuff as well. But they shine a load of light on the building trade and different trades, and they do something at the minute called the Bull Family, where they go to the site and have a look, and I think it's dead interesting, and you see how other people do things, and you know, tools and things that they use, and what they, you know, they'll do a rating on stuff and things, and it just goes, oh, that might help out, you know, what I do at work and things like that. So I think, you know, YouTube and social media now is that big that how can it not shine a light on construction? So, and it just, yeah, it's really, I think it's really good for the industry.
Do you think it's impacted on the amount of people that are getting into the trade?
I don't think it's more people getting into the trade. I think trades is going a little bit, really. You know, we don't see young people coming through. It's all older people, or older people getting closer to retirement. I genuinely think I'm maybe the last generation wants to do construction. So, and I'm 33, 34 this year, and you think, well, I'm not seeing 17, 18, 19-year-olds at all. So,
do you think that comes from schools specifically? Are they not pushing them as
probably,
much?
Yeah. Like when I was at school, nobody even mentioned to me about becoming a tradesman. I don't know if they look down on you to say, oh, you're a tradesman, but at the end of the day, you'd still have them in your house doing your work. But it never got spoke about. I think it should definitely be spoke about more at schools for people pushing into trades, because like I say, if it dies off, there's nobody coming through. And if the teachers aren't pushing them to do that, it will just die, which would be good for us because we'll never be out of work, but at the same time, there's nobody coming through. So,
what's a common myth about your trade?
Not everybody's a cowboy. I think a lot of people are quick to jump on a band. If a job doesn't go, loads of jobs don't go right, but it's about how the tradesman deals with that job not going right. He can either go, well, it's not my fault, or he can go the extra mile and sort it. If he goes, it's not my fault, I think that the customer's quick to say, oh my God, he's a cowboy. Don't, you know, one job like that, you can destroy somebody's career by saying he's a cowboy builder, because that one person knows 10 other people and he's just not going to go there.
What's the most pointless tool you've ever invested in?
So I bought a cordless Hoover, and it just did not do anything. Literally pushed the dust around more than anything. So I ended up getting trusty old Henry out, plugged him in, and had as much suck as I wanted.
If you could change one thing about your industry, what would it be?
The image of it, I suppose. You know, it's not, you have down days, but you also have, like in the summer, take last year for instance, where it was 35 degrees plus mint to work in construction. We got called out to loads of people's offices whose air conditioning wasn't working, and it's like, I'm driving around in my air conditioned van. This is mint, t-shirt, shorts. You know, the summer is wicked, but also the winter, like in construction, a lot of the time you lose the daylight quick. So you can't be doing construction jobs in the dark or outside or whatever. So your days do end up being shorter. Sometimes you work until 9:30 at night. Sometimes you could finish at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's not all doom and gloom, so to speak. You do have really good days, but you do have really bad days. But that's like any job, I suppose. But
what advice would you give the next generation of builders?
Keep doing what you're doing and never stop learning. Like I was always told, once you're out of education, it's hard to get back into. To learn anything else now, I have to do like a night course or take time off work to do that amount of time to do the course. If I'd have done it straight from college and learned them, I would have been in a better position qualification-wise now. But yeah, stay in school, kids. I'm Andy, and this is Behind the Trade.